Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew here, and today we're going to be talking about the Luna's Howl, which is a 180 RPM hand cannon that Kevin Yanis, aka Tocom, was using in the Crucible reveal stream. Now, this 180 RPM hand cannon is expected or rumored to be the new competitive reward that will replace what is currently the Redrix's Claymore. The Luna's Howl is a nice little nod to a weapon or popular hand cannon we all know of in Destiny 1, and it has a very unique perk that in the hands of a skilled player could be very lethal. Now, before we talk about the perk, I actually want to talk about 180 hand cannons in Forsaken and how they will act and such. So 180 hand cannons have received a buff for Forsaken to deal 57 critical damage and 39 body damage. Currently in Destiny 2, they do 50 critical damage and 32 body damage. We can predict that this will equate to a 2 crit 2 body kill up until 4 resilience, and after 4 resilience it'll be a 3 crit 1 body kill, and a 5 body shot kill up until 5 resilience, where after that level it'll be a 6 body shot kill. Of course, this is based on the resilience numbers that we currently know, but we can't be 100% certain without testing it in game. Either way though, I think this is a solid prediction. This would give the 180 hand cannons the same 1 second optimal time to kill, but now only requiring 50 to 75% critical hit ratio, whereas currently in Destiny 2 it requires 100%, and it'll give it a body time to kill of 1.33 seconds against low resilience, but against higher resilience it'll be a 1.66 second body shot time to kill. It is important to remember though, against those higher resilience guardians that will be negating your 1.33 second body time to kill, you can still hit a 1 crit 4 body and score that same 1.33 second time to kill. 180 hand cannons in Forsaken actually look pretty promising to me. They're gonna punish low resilience pretty well with a great optimal time to kill that's more than possible to get, and a not very punishing body time to kill. And against higher resilience levels, it only takes 1 crit to get that average 1.33 second time to kill that'll reside between your optimal 1 second and your base 1.66 seconds. The real special thing about this 180 hand cannon that's gonna make it pretty crazy is its signature perk, Magnificent Howl. Landing 2 precision shots on a target increases the damage of the 3rd shot. That's what it appears to be. This isn't an in-game description. We don't have that yet. We haven't seen it. But based on the gameplay and based on Tocom using it, there was a scenario where he did successfully activate the perk, landing 2 precision hits and then a massive damage body shot that resulted in a 3-shot kill. Essentially, the weapon has lights below the sights that light up each time you get a headshot. However, should you miss a shot or hit a body shot, the lights reset. If you hit 2 headshots in a row, the 2 lights will light up green and signify that the perk is ready for a high damage 3rd shot. Based on the gameplay from the Crucible reveal stream, the lights stay active for approximately 2 seconds, meaning you have 2 seconds from one headshot to the next to activate the perk, and I'd also assume that you have 2 seconds to utilize that high damage shot. In Kevin Yanis' gameplay, the 3rd shot he hit following the 2 critical shots was a body shot actually that dealt 88 damage. This is about 2.25 times the regular damage of a body shot for the 180 hand cannon archetype, and still higher damage than even a headshot by a considerable amount. If this same multiplier counts towards the headshot damage, then we can predict that a headshot with that damage buff will deal about 128 damage. Of course, headshot damage doesn't really matter as much, considering that with the perk active, you can get a 2 crit 1 body kill in that order for a 0.66 second time to kill. Headshot damage would only matter if you were to kill someone with 2 body and then 2 crit, and within 2 seconds, assuming this is how long the perk lasts for, land a headshot on another player, which you could then land an additional 2 body shots for that same 0.66 second time to kill. But of course, less critical hits needed with 1 crit 2 body. Assuming that the headshot damage with the buff is going to be around 128 damage, that means 2 crits is just shy of being able to 2-tap 0 resilience. But that also means if you have a weak target, you can 2-tap them to the head with this for an even faster time to kill. I see these 2 scenarios as pretty rare or unlikely, but if you were to pull it off, it would be pretty insane. So how good will this weapon be? I think personally that in general, the 180 RPM hand cannons have a lot of potential in the Forsaken meta, with a pretty fast optimal time to kill, great room for error, and a very low body time to kill against some low resilience guardians to match that. And against the higher resilience guardians, like I said, a good average time to kill, taking only 1 crit. That being said, I predict more players utilizing resilience to counter the lethality of weapons like these 180 hand cannons, and potentially others, and against a high resilience Guardian, the margin of error for these hand cannons is much smaller. Even if the 180 hand cannons do take more critical hits against a mid or high resilience Guardian though, you can try them out right now in game and you'll probably notice that hitting headshots with these hand cannons is not exactly a demanding task in any way. They have virtually no recoil to compensate for, giving them, in my opinion, still a good margin of error even when having to hit critical shots. With Luna's Howl, if a player can manage to land 2 headshots to start a fight, they can pretty much bet that they'll win that fight with the last shot only needing to be a body. With a TTK that can pretty well beat almost anything we currently know of, many of the TTK boosts at the moment rely on getting a kill, whether it be with Drang or getting a headshot to proc Outlaw, or even kill clip, rampage, etc. And this doesn't require getting a kill to activate. Of course, there's no player that's going to be able to 1000% all the time open a gunfight with 2 critical hits, but I go back to the point of how forgiving these 180 hand cannons are for hitting headshots. Hand cannons have some of the biggest critical hitboxes in the game, and this is most likely to account for the high recoil that they have compared to most weapons and make them feel good. However, 180 hand cannons have virtually no recoil, so hitting headshots with these, especially just 2 to open a fight, is entirely possible on a consistent basis for a skilled player in my opinion. I mean, you can even try and load into a private match now and try out the 180 hand cannons and see how forgiving they feel for hitting headshots. Stat-wise, based on a very loose measurement on a rather low resolution image, we can expect Luna's Howl to have about 70 stability and 48 range on the roll that Tocom was using. This is not including his masterwork stats here. Based on these stats, using an Aikilos hand cannon with a stability masterwork is the closest thing you could use to emulate what this weapon may feel like. An Aikilos hand cannon with a stability masterwork should have 71 stability and 45 range, I believe, with the second barrel option. I don't think these stats are bad. I think the weapon has a great amount of stability, but it lacks range a little bit, and you can see the damage drop off in the gameplay as well. And if you try out the Aikilos hand cannon, you can kind of get a sense of that. So with the ability of being able to masterwork range on hand cannons come Forsaken, I would put my masterwork into range. Luna's Howl seems like it'll have pretty good stability. Again, I think it needs some help with range, but one thing that I like about it that's really good is its reload. A lot of the 180 hand cannons have pretty terrible reload speed, so it's nice to see that this has a pretty high reload stat. Of course, these stats are subject to the roll that Tocom has on this weapon, and it has drop mag on as well. It's also good to mention that Luna's Howl is an energy weapon, meaning there will be 2 top tier legendary weapons for each slot, Redrix for kinetic and Luna for energy, and this can be used with top tier weapons like Balagant and Hawthorne Shotgun, which are making their way to the kinetic slot in Forsaken. I want to elaborate a bit on random rolls though. There's a lot of speculation that this will be the next competitive reward because not every weapon has a very unique perk as this one does, and the last legendary weapon to do this was the Redrix Claymore, and of course Tocom was using this weapon, who loves to promote the competitive playlist rewards. What's interesting though is that on the reveal stream, the UI says that this is a random roll weapon. Now I know that the UI in many ways may not be finished, and this is subject to change, or perhaps not indicative of the final product, but there were weapons shown that do not say that they were a random roll weapon, leading me to believe that this could be accurate of how it will be on launch. This could mean a few things. Firstly, it can mean that this weapon is a random drop in the competitive playlist at any point, but the likeliness of the drop in the frequency increases based on your current rank. Or it could mean that the weapon becomes a very likely drop after achieving a certain rank in competitive, think like the Mighty Catalyst at the legend rank, and can continue to drop with different rolls at any point afterwards. Or perhaps this weapon can drop at any point in competitive, but is exponentially more likely to drop after reaching a certain rank, where afterwards it can drop regularly and perhaps with a higher rate dependent on your overall rank. I think that any of these scenarios, or perhaps a combination of these scenarios, is possible considering that recently Tocom tweeted that the team thought the grind to Fabled was too long, and revisions to the competitive reward would come in the next season with the goal of making it more accessible without ruining the prestige of the weapon. Something like having the drop frequency rise as your rank goes up allows multiple players to obtain the weapon, but the best players will have the most drop frequency, allowing them far more likelihood of getting the most optimal weapon roll. Having a random roll on this weapon will also keep people invested in playing the competitive playlist for a longer period of time, trying to get the most optimal or ideal roll in their eyes that they're looking for. Anyways, that's all I've got to say about the Luna's Howl. I'm really excited for the weapon, and I'm already practicing with the Aikilos hand cannon. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the weapon though, so tell me in the comments below. I believe I owe you guys an emblem winner, and the random winner is Beatrix on Battle.net. I'll message you on Battle.net and you'll get your emblem. For those interested in the giveaways, I'll be doing many more. I have like a ton of these emblems stockpiled, so there'll be more in the future as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been Drew here, and I'll catch you guys later.